from Learfield, this is the Buckeye Roundtable Show presented by Burger King and brought to you statewide by the American Dairy Association Mideast and Cova Insurance, Window Nation, and by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers on the Ohio State Sports Network presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics. Now, along with former OSU All-American Jim Lachey and the voice of the Buckeyes, Paul Keels, here's your host, Skip Mossick.
And hi again, everybody. Welcome into another Buckeye Roundtable show as Ohio State takes care of top-ranked Texas 14-7. Ohio State now number one. They get set for Grambling this week. We'll get into it the next couple of hours with former OSU All-American, NFL All-Pro, Jim Lachey. Happy Tuesday.
What a weekend, and certainly enjoyed Labor Day.
Hall of Fame broadcaster, longtime voice of the Buckeyes. He enjoys every day, and that's Paul Keels.
Phenomenal setting, phenomenal win, and phenomenal to be here with you and all the listeners, Skip and Jim.
Absolutely. Coach Ryan Day will join us later this hour. Fellas, 3/4 of this football game Saturday felt like old-school football. I mean, both teams kept keeping it on the ground, and defense is really the story before a couple of big pass plays for both teams in the fourth quarter. Jim, let's start with you. Let's start with that defense. They bent a little bit, but got Texas off the field on third and fourth downs when it really mattered the most. What impressed you the most?
Well, fourth downs is what impressed me, especially when you got a goal line situation again. You know, that's kind of goes back to the semifinal game where, you know, they're down there knocking on the door and our defense comes up and makes plays. This time it's on a, 4th and 1 at the 1 yard line. They hold them out. And some of the things that we talked about last week. Hey, find Colin Simmons, number one. Remember the freshman of the year? Now he's a sophomore. Well, they did a good job on him. He had 2 tackles in that ball game. There was only no sacks given up by the offensive line, 1 TFL that they was able to get for -1 yard. And then we talked about pressuring the quarterback, and they were able to pressure the quarterback with blitzes, line stunts, different type of looks at the secondary to confuse, to make Arch hold on to that football a little bit longer, and all that paid off for Ohio State.
Paul, I know you're just describing what you're seeing during a ball game, but did you kind of get the sense that both Ryan Day and Steve Sarkisian were trying to not put their young quarterbacks in a position to make mistakes? I mean, obviously that changed for Texas once Ohio State got the lead, but did you get that sense as the game was going on?
Absolutely, Skip. And I think what we saw from Ohio State from a defensive side, like Jim was talking about, there were all the questions. How would a defense be different under Matt Patricia? And certainly they showed a lot of stuff that Texas maybe wasn't necessarily ready for from the get-go and had to adjust on the fly. But no question, they were trying to keep both of these quarterbacks from getting into real risky situations.
How about the crowd for you guys and the atmosphere? I mean, noon we know is not ideal, but the fans really did their part to make it tough on Texas when it needed to do so. We talked with Ross Bjork about it at halftime, but did you guys like some of the changes in the stadium game day experience?
Absolutely, and you could see even before kickoff, the way everybody had squeezed in there was all set, and it looked great with all of the red. The burnt orange was washed out a little bit. It made you forget that people had complained about it being a noon start. But the atmosphere outside the stadium was even more incredible. I mean, just phenomenal the way everybody had kind of choked all in there.
Yeah, and again, that's something that, you're kind of used to, not for every game, but for big games.
Sure.
We've kind of seen that. And to see that for the opener, and why not? Hey, you get the national championship teams coming back playing Texas in the opening game. There's reason for a lot of excitement, and there was. I was kind of kidding people yesterday talking on the radio with Rothman and Ice that it took me like 20 minutes to walk from the press box to get to, where we do our pregame show, which is just, the south part of St. John Arena, and to get back, it was like another 20 minutes. Just
I noticed.
Yeah, I mean,
where's Jim?
Woody Hayes Drive was just packed and full, and people are stopping you, saying, "Hey, what's up?" And like,
just
"Hey,
like that this Saturday.
I got to get work." And again,
hope so.
When you only have 7 of those opportunities,
Right.
it should be like that each and every week. But we all know that game day, that attracted a lot of people there to clog up Woody Hayes Drive. But what an atmosphere! I think what Ross did, changing some of the things around. As far as, having people not getting, recognized on field, but kind of over there in the north end zone, really paid off.
Tonight's broadcast, as well as all of our Buckeye Roundtables throughout the season, are available on our flagship station's YouTube page. Simply search WBNS Radio on YouTube. You can watch it live or later if you miss any part of it. You can also download the Buckeye Roundtable podcast wherever you find your favorite podcasts, and be sure to subscribe to both. Fans, you can win a catered party for up to 20 people at your home for an away game this season, plus a behind-the-scenes tour of Ohio Stadium for 10. The Giant Eagle Tailgates and Tour Sweepstakes is presented by Pop-Tarts, Rice Krispie Treats, and Coca-Cola. Register today at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/tailgates for your chance to win. Saturday, Ohio State hosts Grambling. We'll be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 2 p.m. Up next, our 60-second timeout as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Ohio State fans. Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey, Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Buckeyes are known for paying it forward. That's why Buckeyes Care strives to serve the betterment of our community by positively impacting families across Ohio. Join partners American Electric Power, Donato's, Kroger, the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the James Cancer Hospital, Huntington Bank, and WBNS-TV in Columbus in supporting this cause at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/BuckeyesCare.
Buckeye Roundtable, 60-second timeout.
Lots to try to squeeze in here. Paul, let's start with quarterback play. Julian Sayin, 13 of 20, 126 and a touchdown. What did you like the most out of what he showed you?
Well, going to listen to what Ryan Day said about him. His composure. The moment didn't seem to be too big for him. He didn't seem, at least to the naked eye, to get rattled, and took care of the football. So probably the biggest thing is that he did.
Jim?
A lot of the similar things that Paul said, and if you kind of look at it, he had some drops there. I mean, Jeremiah 2, Max Clare 1. Had a couple of those routes where Jeremiah was getting held, where that could have been in there. It should have been a penalty. I mean, you saw the photos, the stills, and it's like, wow, he's all over him, Muhammad, number 5. But, so if you take 1 or 2 or 3 of those, you're looking at 16 of 20, which is 80%. 65% is okay. I mean, actually, it's really good, but 80% is outstanding. I thought he showed poise. I thought he moved around the pocket. I think the play of the game for him was when he was in the end zone, the north end zone, scrambling, and was able to roll out and hit Carnell Tate. That, to me, showed me a lot. To throw on a run like that and be able to deliver a ball right along the sideline for only Carnell Tate to catch, I thought that was very impressive. And then, again, just the way he managed the game, it didn't seem like, we didn't have any there's times the new quarterback where the plays, doesn't seem to be come on quick enough, things like that. That didn't seem to be the issue.
All right, conversely, Arch Manning, 17 of 30, 170, and a touchdown and a pick. He's been criticized a bunch nationally. I don't necessarily agree with it, but is the criticism warranted?
Well, on that pick, that was a bad throw. You could see where he really did not put the receiver in a good position. However, this is a guy that over the course of the time he played last year showed that he was a big running threat. We only saw that on basically one play in that game on Saturday. When the game was over, the immediate thought that came to my mind, this kid will be better than what he showed there. So I agree. I think some of the criticism is unwarranted.
I think it's unwarranted. I think he's going to be a good football player. Problem was he went against a great defense and a defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, who was able to, kind of dial up some things that maybe he's never seen before. So I think that's the key. And then we talked about this last week and in the pregame show. He's got 4 new offensive linemen. And, that showed up a little bit where he had pressure. I mean, how can you let the last play of the game on a 4th and 5 let C.J. Hicks just come unblocked off the edge? You got number counts, but how can you miss him, a guy that's lined up right outside you, the right tackle? So there were some of those issues there. But, yeah, I mean, I was surprised to see him throw sidearm. There's 2 or 3 times where he was just trying to throw it sidearm. I'm like, I've never seen, that be a long-term success plan for a quarterback is throwing a sidearm type football. But, like I said, he's going to be okay once this course. I don't think Sark really helped him with some of those plays. Maybe if, some of those runs, maybe he thought they would get a little bit more to get him in, 2nd and short, 3rd and short, where they can go ahead and convert. But he missed some throws badly. But, again, credit our defense.
Ohio State's defense has a lot to do with it.
I don't think he has the receiving threats that Quinn Ewers had last year.
That's a good point.
All right, next. There were a couple of really key plays in the game. Obviously, 4th down stop on the goal line. That's one of them. 2 plays after that, though, the offsetting penalties when Ohio State, when a hold in the end zone would have been a safety. I mean, you can't overlook because you never know what's going to happen as far as momentum. Which of those, I guess let's phrase it this way. How big of an offsetting penalty situation was that?
Oh, huge, because then you're looking at, a free kick out of the end zone, and ideally Texas is going to have great field position. So that was huge, the fact that, and, we know penalties in a first game can kind of be crucial. They really weren't for Ohio State.
Yeah, it's kind of a chicken and egg. Would he have held if he'd have got anyone grabbing and pulling his face mask? You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's kind of like, the reason why he held was because he was getting his face mask ripped off, by the defender there. So, yeah, I mean, you never want to hold in the end zone. That's something that, believe me, you talk about in the huddle when you're backed up like that and you're taking passes. So it's like, hey, man, keep your hand, keep this clean. But that happened, and the offsetting penalties was huge. I was glad to see those multiple flags out on that play.
All right. Speaking of penalties, there were only 8 called in the game. We said, as Jim alluded to, there were probably some others. 6 on Texas, 2 on Ohio State. Aside from the ones, it's always easy to Sunday morning quarterback as far as, armchair quarterback. Do you kind of like, though, the way the officials stayed out of the game on Saturday?
Yeah, I thought they did a really overall good job. As I talked about earlier, they probably missed a few, defensive holdings by the Texas secondary. But, that kind of comes and goes. And he hoped they call it to both ways for both sets of defensive backs. That Luke Montgomery holding call, that kind of was a drive stopper when you have to go back 10 yards in that situation. But, it's early in the year. You don't want to get your quarterback killed or hit. So if you have to hold. I had an old quarterback, Dan Fouts, used to say to me, hey, if a guy gets running, just tackle him, hold him. I go, well, wait a minute. Wouldn't that be 10 yards? He goes, I don't care. He goes, if it's 3rd and 15, I can make it. I'll just tell my receivers to go 10 yards deeper. But if I'm 3rd and in the hospital, that's not going to work. So you got to hold.
Paul, a lot of people were talking like, well, how come SEC officials coming in here? It's like, well, look, hey, man, I have no problem with them. I mean, we see Big Ten officials enough. I don't need to see them any more than we already do.
And they'll be we would assume, unless something changes, there'll be Big Ten officials when they play in Austin next year.
That's the way it's always going to go.
The interception, too. Sonny Styles, it did hit the ground, but so did Parker Livingston's Stone's catch. It looked like it hit the ground. It's just, you're talking degrees of separation there, very fine.
Sure. All right. Always like to wind this segment down with rating the opponent. Is there any reason at all to think that Texas will not be a factor in the SEC and the college football playoff?
I think there's no question they will be, and they will play better than this. Not just in their upcoming non-conference games, but when they get in the SEC, they will play better. How much better? That's the big question. But they will be a better team than what they showed.
Wouldn't it be interesting if they knock off Georgia here in a few weeks? I mean, that would be something that would be huge. Playing in a hostile environment, game one, a lot of new starters on that offensive line. I got faith that Kyle Flood, their offensive coordinator, offensive line coach, is going to get those guys playing better, and wouldn't be surprised if we might get a chance to play them again.
Well, you go from number 1 to Grambling this week, Jim. Keys to avoid a letdown against a team that you're obviously heavily favored against. I mean, you start with this level, and then, no offense to Grambling, but they're not at this level.
Yeah, you don't worry about the opponent. You worry about how well you can play. So you want to have a perfect technique. When you get graded on technique, and then you get graded, do I get the job done? So you want to go out there and grade high no matter who you're playing. And, again, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. You still want to go out and take care of what you have to do. Perfect technique, get the job done, no penalties. I'm speaking for offensive linemen, but that's really for every position. Everybody has somebody grading you. So this is one of those things where you want to grade high. The offensive line graded out pretty good last week. The defensive line graded out pretty good. You want to duplicate that. You don't want to see any fall off. The only thing here maybe different is maybe some other guys will get to play. You might get to play some more depth. You might get to see a second quarterback if things are going the way you would expect them to go. And that's also a positive, too, because, these guys are on scholarship, too. They're working hard. They like to get opportunities in front of their, fans, too, to go out there and play. And all their guys that, high school buddies that watch them maybe from TV or at home or listen to them on the radio, they want to hear about them and hear their story. So it does kind of lead to that maybe, there will be some opportunities for some other guys, which you'd hope you see. But, yeah, the drop-off of talent, everybody knows that. When you go from, a top 10 type team or number 1 team in the country coming in to, an FCS type team, it's going to be a little bit different.
Should we tell the story why this game is happening again, Skip?
We'll do that later coming up,
right.
Okay? Up next, we will break down week number 1 across the Big Ten. That is next as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready? It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
True North convenience stores are your coffee and fountain champions. Fuel up your game day with True Rewards. Buy 6 True Brew coffees or True Oasis fountain drinks and get your 7th free. Whether you're heading to a game or watching from home, grab a True Brew coffee or an ice-cold True Oasis fountain drink to keep you going all 4 quarters. Find True Rewards in your app store or visit TrueNorthStores.com to get started. True North convenience stores. Fast, friendly, clean. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mossick. Buckeye fans, power up and carbon down with AEP Energy and Eco Advantage, their 100% renewable energy plan for your home or business. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
It's time for the Buckeye Roundtable Big Ten Breakdown.
Splitting out far side is Allen. Pena near side. Allen in motion toward us. It'll be Katron Allen into the hole to the 10. Inside the 10. Lowers the shoulder to 5 to the goal line. He's there. And Katron Allen's got it. Touchdown, Penn State.
Steve Jones, Penn State Radio Network. Nittany Lions win their opener over Nevada. Big time, 46-11.
You know, it'll be interesting to see, Skip, too, how the addition of wide receivers, they brought the one transfer from USC, and they become so dependent on Tyler Warren last year. The wideouts were kind of a forgotten thing. Yeah. So how will that help? But also, can you imagine that we would be talking about a Penn State defense without Abdul Carter that still plays at a high level?
Well, Dennis Sutton. Yeah, Dennis Sutton is one of the big reasons for that. He stepped up and, caused a couple turnovers. They had 3 turnovers, Nevada did. And Penn State, they're going to run the football. They were able to do that with Singleton and Allen. And, Aller was very effective throwing the football, 22 of 26, did it deliver to where he needed to do. And he ran the ball pretty effectively at 6 carries for 20 yards.
Much like a lot of teams who lost a lot of talent from a year ago is Oregon. How would the Ducks fare in their opener with Montana State?
Lamar in the backfield, and he will get the handoff, cuts it out, try to get an edge, going to have to run hard, does 10, first down, touchdown. Touchdown, Ducks. DeCorian Moore with a great block.
Jerry Allen on Learfield. Oregon rolls Montana State 59-13.
And I think people maybe have slept on Oregon because they didn't know what they'd be at the quarterback spot. But Dante Moore, who a couple of years ago started when he was at UCLA, this is a guy that seemingly from one game, but also the fact that he fought off other challengers at the quarterback position is going to keep their offense at a high level.
Yeah, and I think that, Lanning was talking about how the game plan was kind of simple, but, they didn't try to throw a whole lot out like the Ohio State with Julian saying. But he went out and executed, what they gave him at a high level.
I'm sorry, Jim. Finish. I was going to say to Ann Arbor next, where Michigan hosted New Mexico.
Haynes in the backfield, Underwood in a shotgun. Takes the snap, back to pass, looking left, going to deliver. He's got a man out there. It's Marlon Klein at the goal line, into the end zone. A double move for a Michigan touchdown.
Doug Karsh on Learfield. Wolverines beat New Mexico 34-17.
Bryce Underwood's going to be a problem. He's really going to be a problem. But it's helped by the fact that they've got Justice Haynes and Jordan Marshall running the football. And even though they lost, we talked about this last week, they lost those two outstanding defensive linemen, they still got a lot of studs on defense.
Yeah, Haynes, a transfer from Alabama. You know how many times we heard that over the last couple of years about our Alabama guys. Had 159 yards in that ball game, 3 touchdowns. Michigan does what Michigan wants to do, against opponent like New Mexico. They were able to run the football. A little bit closer than I thought, though, 34-17, but still, they dominated.
Some questions as well about Indiana, who lost a lot of guys from a year ago. The Hoosiers opened with Old Dominion.
Jonathan Brady is back deep for Indiana. Here's the punt on its way. It's a short kick. And bounces down. Now it's taking a great Old Dominion roll. And here comes Brady. He catches the ball on the bounce. He's at the 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. He's got a caravan. 40-yard line. Down to the 30. Down to the 20. The 10. 5. Touchdown! Jonathan Brady runs it 90 yards on the return.
Don Fisher on Learfield. This one wasn't one-sided, but IU still with the victory over Old Dominion, 27-14.
You know, they bring back some key pieces on their defense, but getting an experienced quarterback in Mendoza, who transferred in from Cal, certainly is going to help them. Now, they face a tougher schedule than they did last year, not for a few weeks anyway, but Coach Signetti's got a lot of ammunition because they didn't play as well as what he thought they should.
And another transfer, too, from Maryland, Roman Hemby, that came up.
Still?
Yeah, 23 carries, 110 yards in that ball game. So, yeah, there's some transfers. And, again, give Coach Signetti credit. That's what kind of built his team last year. Of course, a lot of those transfers that he got last year were from JMU, James Madison University there in Harrisburg, West Virginia. But, he goes out and he finds some players. Mendoza, as you mentioned, from Cal, I thought did a good job. Fernando.
Next to Iowa City, where the Hawkeyes hosted Albany.
Less than a yard for the first down. Here's Williams. Touchdown, Iowa. Happy to yell that for the first time this season. Took a look over center, cut it back over guard. Peeper through the key block there, and it's a touchdown, Iowa.
Gary Dolphin on Learfield. Hawkeyes open with a win, 34-7.
What a difference having a quarterback makes that can get you going offensively. Gronowski certainly did that. They certainly have been a team that has had the building blocks on defense. The offensive line, Jim, you talked about a lot how they were better last year, but this certainly having a quarterback that can get them into their offense is going to make a big difference.
Yeah, he won great. 44 yards in that ball game. Speaking to some Hawkeye fans, they were a little, I remember Luke kind of texted us during the game. Is this what it was like watching me play? And we're like, yeah. I mean, it's kind of still the same, but they're going to run the ball. Their big offensive line, Coach Barnett, their line coach here, does a good job getting those guys prepared. And how about Coach Ferentz? 205 career victories, ties in with the great Woody Hayes.
To the Rose Bowl, could UCLA get off to a better start to the season as they hosted Utah?
Dampier rolls to his right. He's going to throw down the field. Has a man open in the end zone. Caught, touchdown. That's Lander Barton, the linebacker turned tight end in the end zone for a Utah touchdown.
Took a moment for Bill Riley to get excited. Utah Network, they pound UCLA 43-10.
And you think Nico Imaliava was going to be a lightning rod of a figure before that game? He's going to continue to be.
Yeah, and Utah found a quarterback in Devon Dampler. He really, I thought, played well, and that's kind of what they were missing. They, played a little bit more up-tempo, a little bit more off-tackle. So they, I thought had a pretty good attack against UCLA. But, man, Deshaun Foster, will he make it through the year?
We'll see. We'll see if he makes it to Columbus later this year. Final stop, Seattle, where we'll be in a couple of weeks, where Washington hosted Colorado State.
Snap. Williams drops back. Floats it downfield. One-handed catch, Denzel Boston. He holds on. The flag flies. Don't even need it. Touchdown, Washington. A spectacular touchdown to Denzel Boston. Gives the lead to Washington with 3:01 to go in the third.
Tony Castricone on Learfield. Washington pulls away from Colorado State in the second half to get the win, 38-21.
And people high on Williams, especially the way he played at the quarterback spot at the end of the last year. And significant because Colorado State is a team that people think is going to be a pretty good team.
Jonah Coleman, 177 yards rushing in the game, so Washington got that figured out. Jed Fish, in his second year, I think, now in Washington. They struggled a little bit last year, especially playing on the East Coast, but he had those guys cranking against Colorado State.
Remember, that was a late hire last year, too.
Besides UCLA, the only other Big Ten team to lose their opener was Northwestern. I guess any surprises from either of you one way, of the victors or those who lost their opener?
It was a little surprising Northwestern didn't make more of a game out of this, but they continue to really struggle offensively. The thing that, Skip, really got my attention, Maryland. They had 6 interceptions. Their freshman quarterback, Malik Washington, played great, but we really shouldn't pay attention to them until they start playing Big Ten games.
How about Purdue?
Yeah, there you go.
They got their first victory, and it's been a while. They had a streak going on of losses, but they took care of it.
And you know what? Their quarterback, Ryan Brown, had been at Purdue, left, went to North Carolina, and came back. North Carolina could probably used him last night.
This week of note, Illinois is at Duke. Iowa is at Iowa State. Oklahoma State is at Oregon. Michigan travels to Oklahoma. Boston College at Michigan State. Any of those stand out for you for this coming weekend?
Curious to see how much Oklahoma has improved. So, how they're going to look in that. But also, I think for a lot of reasons, a lot of people watching Iowa State to see if Coach Ferentz can surpass Woody Hayes for Big Ten wins.
Yeah, the Cyhawk is going to be a key game. Got to think Iowa State would be favored in that game with Rocco Beck being their quarterback. And, certainly my eyes and attention will go to Michigan, Oklahoma. That should be a heck of a game.
We were talking, again, going back to our season kickoff show about Illinois, saying that this would be the first kind of test a little bit. Even if they think Duke on the road is still, it's a test you have to pass.
Yeah, it's still on the road. And, Illinois, again, they're so highly regarded because of their returners and because of Luke Altmaier and the way he played in the first game.
How about Hank Beatty? Broke Red Grange's record, had 4 punt returns for 133 yards. The Red Grange's record was set in 1923 at 125. So that's some history there. 100 years.
That's it. Thank you, Mr.
102.
Mr. History.
Funk and Wagnalls.
That's where we want it.
Hey, Beatty.
Saturday, Ohio State again will play host to Grambling. 3:30 kickoff at Ohio Stadium. We'll be on the air with the AEP Energy Buckeye pregame show beginning at 2 p.m. Up next, we will hear from Ohio State coach Ryan Day as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
This is Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag Buckeyes Care.
Hey, Ohio State fans, are you looking to score big with your home equity? Union Home Mortgage will help you unlock the value of your home and fund the promises you've made to yourself and your family. If you need to pay off debt, have home improvements, or whatever your family needs are, visit UHM.com and score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp is an equal housing opportunity lender and MLS number 2229.
When it comes to your cancer diagnosis, the choice for your care is clear.
And when you choose the James at Ohio State,
you're opting for care from a highly specialized team dedicated to treating one type of cancer, yours.
A team that studies the unique makeup of your disease to develop a personalized treatment plan.
You're choosing our region's only comprehensive cancer center designated by the National Cancer Institute.
For your cancer care, the choice is clear. The James at Ohio State.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
From the first one born in the USA to the tens of millions that followed, from the American highways to the NASCAR race days, more people have counted on their Camrys than any other car for over 23 years. And now, Camry is even better. It's all hybrid all the time to be more efficient yet powerful, with available all-wheel drive for the capability to go wherever you want to go in style and comfort. For the latest offers, go to Toyota.com and make your own history. Toyota, let's go places.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Your Ohio State flagship station, The Fan. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show, presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. We'll hope to hear from Ohio State coach Ryan Day coming up here in just a couple of moments. But after a long build up to that weekend, do you sit back and enjoy and watch a lot of college football, or do you sit back and say, just turn it all off and say, I just need to relax for a little bit?
No, a fair amount. Was able to Saturday evening watch some, take some of it in. Couldn't stay awake long enough for the end of LSU and Clemson. But very interested in watching Miami Notre Dame to see how that played out, and even more interested in the North Carolina game. And boy, that wasn't much of a game.
Yeah, Sunday was fun, to watch. And then, obviously you get into Monday night to see North Carolina and, a little bit interested in seeing how that was going to turn out. But, yeah, it's like you, I turned that off in the fourth quarter.
All right, joined for a few minutes now by Ohio State coach Ryan Day. His comments are presented by Kroger. And coach, there's that old adage that teams make their biggest improvement from weeks 1 to 2. After opening on such a high, what areas would you like to see your team get better at on both sides of the football?
A coach is everything. I feel like we've got to improve in so many areas. I kind of talked to the team about those things, as a group, fundamentally, pad level, hands, running to the ball, overall execution, communication, and then there's certain things offensively, defensively, and special teams wise that we got to do a better job of. We got to be more explosive on offense, got to do a better job on third down. On defense, got to attack the ball more. Got to identify formations a little bit quicker and communicate. So, there's a laundry list of things that, we got to get done. And, certainly a lot better to be dealing with them after a win. But nonetheless, we got a lot of work to do.
Well, it was another top 10 victory. Congrats on that. Coach, impressed with Carnell Tate, playing next to Jeremiah Smith. That can be, some guys don't take that right, but he just continues to compete. And, of course, he had 2 catches in that game. Both of them were tough catches on the sideline for a first down and then the touchdown. 29 straight games. Every game that he's played in, he's caught a pass, and just shows you how productive he's been throughout his career.
Yeah, there's no question. And I think for Carnell, he's a good example of a message that, another message that I gave the team is, in order to be on the team that's successful, there has to be unselfishness. And I think to your point, when you're on a team where there's multiple receivers who are good players, it's important for all the guys to be unselfish. And that's across the board. That's at every position. But Carnell's a good example of that. Somebody that, understands, his importance on the team and doesn't let any type of expectation or, outside noise of, what he should be doing or not doing get in the way of what he's doing. I think when you look at the touchdown play he had, he blocked Colin Simmons on the play before. It was 1st and 15. We got 7 or 8 yards, which allowed us the opportunity to take the shot that we wanted. And that's again, fitting. When you're playing without the football, then certainly, the ball ends up finding you. And I thought he had a great game. He gritted out very, very well, and obviously had the clutch play.
Coach, we talked a lot right after the game about how well the defense played, but is that as much a feather in the cap as the coaching staff, how they implemented the plan as well as the guys on the field?
I think everybody. It's everybody involved. I think, the plan was very well put together, and it was very well executed. And that takes everybody involved. The coordination between Matt and Tim, the coaching, and making sure that guys understand what they're doing, the practice, on the fields, the scout team, everybody. But then ultimately the players have to go do it. And, I think that's probably when you come out of the game, it's a team effort. It takes everybody. And, some really good play by our guys, especially guys who haven't played a lot of football before. So hats off to them. But the plan was, well put together.
Coach, your defense was outstanding, and really the only success Texas had was when they went up-tempo. They got up to that line of scrimmage, and they moved the ball quickly down the field and were able to make some plays. Defensively, it looked like you had a couple defensive linemen on the sideline trying to sub, but you couldn't because they weren't subbing. How do you handle that in the future?
Well, there are certain rules now when anybody are a substitute, we're allowed to substitute.
Mm-hmm.
When the ball's incomplete or the ball goes out of bounds on a run, there's going to be plenty of time to make substitutions. So you're not always going to be able to make substitutions when the ball's in between the hashes and that clock is running and they're moving fast. But now, unlike even 5 years ago, there's just more stoppages. And there's certainly the substitution rule when they're going from 11 personnel to 12 personnel or vice versa. You're able to make these subs. So, I think that's an important part of what we're doing, an important part of our growth and communication.
You talked about the composure that Julian Sayin had out there. From a coaching standpoint, getting to see him in a whole game rather than the role he was in last year, does that help not only your evaluation as a staff, but also his development as a player?
Yeah. I mean, a long way to go just to start. So we don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but I do think there's a lot of good things that were done for sure. But we got to take the next step now. But you're right. I mean, in that moment, to respond the way that he did is a great sign for a young quarterback.
Coach, you played 5 tight ends in that ball game. Nate Roberts got in as a fullback, and you had 13 personnel, 14 personnel, a lot of 12. Was that the game plan, or is that just how it kind of settled out as you went through the course of the game?
Yeah, we had plans for a lot of different styles of games. We had, an 11 package, a 12 package, different styles of 12 packages, and then 13 package. And based on how the game was going, what the score was, how our defense was doing, how the offensive line was working, how the running backs were running, how the quarterback was playing. I mean, there's a lot of things that we were trying to figure out because a lot of these guys are doing it for the first time. We had plans in place for that. And one of the plans was to get big with some of these tight ends and try to lean on people and, create an identity. And I think, you can see where we want to go. We're playing physical. We're playing tough. We have to execute better. We did start some drives kind of backed up, and, we played it a little bit conservative coming out, especially with the young quarterback. But if we can continue to be physical, continue to run physical, and then spread people out and be explosive, then we're gonna have an identity on offense.
Do you feel like the crowd did their part?
Oh, there's no question. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to deny the impact the crowd made. Everybody being in the stadium, that Tennessee game that we had was special. The atmosphere there, and then it really just carried over right into this game in a different way. A noon kickoff, but at 11:30 we came out for warm-ups and it was packed, and they just kept going. And some of those 4th down stops, it was as loud as I've heard it. So and it was just great to get everybody back together, week 1 like that, to enjoy a big win.
I was going to go there with you, Coach. I mean, the stadium was rocking. I know you're working, but did you even notice some of the changes that were made as far as some of the things in venue there at the stadium?
Well, they share those things with me and present them to me and ask for feedback. But when you're in the game, no, I can't sit here and tell you that I know what's going on, other than if it's loud or not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it kind of becomes all a blur, quite honestly. When it comes to that type of stuff, just figuring out what's going on, what the play call is going to be for the next play, the situation in the game, substitution patterns, watching the game on the iPad, all those things. So, but I've heard a lot of great feedback, and I know we set a lot of records with the attendance and things like that. So, all positive things.
Coach, we always appreciate your time. We'll see you for your radio show on Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Go Bucks.
All right. Again, Coach's comments are presented by Kroger. Kroger Pickup is the easy way to get what you want right when you need it. Try Kroger Pickup today in the Kroger app or at Kroger.com. I knew he was going to say that.
Yeah, of course.
I know you're working, but just have a chance to see. Up next, we will hit the red zone with Tim May as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite Repair, Safelite Replace.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
Experience Buckeye Game Day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
American Electric Power is a proud sponsor of Buckeyes Care.
Hi, I'm Janelle Coleman with American Electric Power. AEP comes together with our communities to create a better future every day. Whether we serve, build, or simply share with others, we make Central Ohio brighter for our neighbors. Our collaboration with Buckeyes Care is another way we work to make the future boundless for all.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, inside tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mossick. For every Buckeye touchdown scored this season, the Heartland Bank Community Foundation will make a donation to the USO of Central and Southern Ohio, benefiting our active duty military personnel and their families. For more information or to support our troops, go to usocso.org and be the force behind the forces.
Buckeye Roundtable Red Zone.
Joined inside the red zone, Tim May. Tim, no doubt the Ohio State defense played really well on Saturday. Who impressed you the most for Ohio State, especially of the first-year starters on defense, and I guess why?
Well, Arvell Reese, the nickname Freak certainly fit the definition for him on Saturday. Just ask Arch Manning. He was Arch Manning's nemesis, especially early in that game. And then, Jalen McClain, he started, I think, one game before, maybe I'm wrong, but he and Caleb Downs were quite in sync. It was obvious as that game went on. And those are two guys who really impressed. And, you know, I don't look at Caden McDonald and Edric Houston in the same vein. Maybe I look at those other two guys because those guys played a lot. And, you know, obviously Caden McDonald was in on several of those big-time goal line stands a year ago, including against Texas. And then Jermaine Matthews, he was on the field during that goal line stand that I'm not saying saved the season, but definitely turned the tide in that Cotton Bowl. So the way he played was not a surprise. It was too bad to kind of see him get snookered on that touchdown pass because he was on the man, and then all of a sudden he wasn't there at the very end, but he still got Defensive Player of the Game, according to Ohio State coaches. So he evidently played his responsibilities quite well. But that's just to name a few, and that's mainly defense.
Tim, thanks for being with us this week. Jermaine Matthews, Davidson Igbinosun, do they have a chance to be maybe the best corners in the Big Ten, maybe the country at the end of the year?
All you can do, Jim, is look at who they started the season against and the way they pretty much shut them down and made plays. I mean, Igbinosun's break up in the corner of the end zone, that was huge, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, it wasn't quite on the same level as that late first-half interception at Penn State last year, but it was still a great play by him. And then Jermaine Matthews, we all know, you know, he was considered a starter, I think, you know, by definition by the coaches even last year because they were not hesitant at all to play him in any situation. So, yeah, they definitely have the capability of being definitely the best tandem of corners in the Big Ten. I don't know if you agree or not.
Tim, how much of this can be credited to Matt Patricia and the rest of the defensive staff showing Arch Manning some eye candy?
Head candy. They were showing him head candy, shoulder candy, all kinds of candy. I mean, Caleb Downs was like he was sitting there with his trick-or-treat bucket, you know, just passing out candy. I mean, it was crazy the mind games he was playing directly with Arch Manning in terms of the way he would line up, the way he would show one thing and do another, just with his shoulders would turn one way, and then Arch Manning turned his head, he turned the other way. I mean, all these little things, you know, if you watch video, you can see all of this stuff going on that you don't necessarily pick up as a game is going on, but it was a clinic in terms of candy. Maybe rename it Hersheyville the way it went down. But the bottom line is they really, you could tell they got to Arch Manning mentally. At the beginning of that game especially. And then they were helped by the fact that Arch Manning, I don't know where, maybe those are his fundamentals, but that little whipsaw sidearm action throwing the ball, that's never good. I mean, there's only one guy I've seen really flourish with that in the National Football League, and that's Patrick Mahomes. But Arch was all over the place until he finally calmed down in the fourth quarter. But, yeah, they did a number on him.
Yeah, Arvell Reese coming with what they now call the coffee house blitz.
Yeah.
It used to be a delayed blitz. You know what I mean? I mean, they added new terms to it. What do your people back in Lufkin, Texas, say about that? The Longhorns losing 2 in a row to the Ohio State Buckeyes.
You got to understand where I grew up, man. You either loved Texas, which means you probably were Texas X's, as they call them, or you hated Texas. And I know there are a lot of people that were rejoicing. I know Texas A&M, I mean, if you pin Ross Bjork down, I'm sure he was gleeful just because of where he had been before, much less where he is now. I mean, you know, Texas is either very beloved or very hated in the state of Texas. And I think most people down there feel pretty good about it. And like you said, I was born in Alabama and raised in Texas, and a little bit of an elitism when it came to the Texas faithful all along. But I thought their fans were extremely polite and well-behaved. And the only thing that I could have called an incident was when Governor Abbott left. He almost ran over my foot.
Did you stick it out?
No, I didn't. But he made a sharp right-hand turn, and then Matthew McConaughey and I think it's his wife were right behind him, and they were very polite and walked out, you know, with their heads up, and it was cool. I mean, there's a lot of things to be said for the blue blood programs. That's easy for me to say, but that's one of them. Usually it's filled with class.
Tim, May, we always appreciate your time. Tim, we'll touch base with you later in the week, okay?
You got it, fellas. Always a pleasure. You know that.
All right. Again, all I can tell you is there was a lot of private jets flying out of Don Scott early Saturday evening. No doubt about that. Hour 1 has flown by. Coming up, Hour 2 of tonight's Buckeye Roundtable, our Encova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Player of the Week Award, our American Dairy Association Mid-East's top high school performances, and our weekly whip around the state. We'll hit the sidelines with Tyler Danberg. Joshua Perry, former Buckeye national champion, now with NBC Sports. We'll hop on, talk more about that Buckeye defense. So all that and more, hour number 2 of tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show here on the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State Team Shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
For over 37 years, Buckeye Nation has known Hyde Park Prime Steakhouse for serving the best steaks in the city. Our thick-cut, aged steaks are a staple in Columbus, with 3 locations in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and downtown. And just like the Buckeyes, we strive for excellence and an experience like no other. Hyde Park is proud to introduce the newly added wine room at our downtown Columbus location, where a new elegance in dining surrounds you, creating the ideal setting for any occasion or the perfect night out. Hyde Park is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
At Ohio State, we are the never afraid to innovate teams, the agile, get it done teams, the achieve more together teams, and the improve people's lives teams. Together, we are the Ohio State University.
Learn more about Ohio State at osu.edu/impact.
Toyota gives you more electrified hybrid choices than anyone else, including the stylish new Corolla, a name synonymous with Toyota quality and dependability, the elegant new Toyota Crown Signia, and the latest edition of the legendary 4Runner. Toyota's extensive lineup also includes battery EVs like the tech-savvy all-electric BZ4X, and of course, the iconic Prius, the hybrid that started it all. That's the power of choice from Toyota. Let's go places.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus, The Fan.
Good evening, I'm Jacob Reimer. There's a new number 1 in college football. After receiving 55 first-place votes, the Ohio State football team takes top spot with their win Saturday over Texas. Penn State is at number 2. LSU is up 6 spots to number 3. Texas drops 6 spots to number 7. And now turning to week 2, Ohio State head coach Ryan Day was proud of the way they competed against Texas.
The way that our guys competed, I thought the way that we fought in the trenches, I thought the way that we tackled, I thought the way we blocked, I thought the way we ran, you could see all that. And that's a great start.
The Buckeyes will host Grambling on Saturday with kickoff at 3:30 here on The Fan. In baseball tonight, the Reds and Guardians are both currently underway. Cincinnati is hosting the Blue Jays, and the Guardians are at Fenway Park taking on the Red Sox. Both enter today, 4 games back in the wild card. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan. Ohio's sports destination.
When you're here, you understand what it means to be a Buckeye. And at Elk & Elk, we're proud to wear scarlet and gray every Saturday. Every client, every day, means if you're ever injured, we're proud to stand with you in court. And when you're here at the shoe, we're proud to stand with you and cheer on the Buckeyes.
Whether we're here at the big game or in court, we are committed to you.
Elk & Elk, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King, is on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
And welcome back, everybody, along with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Saturday, it's Ohio State and Grambling. More on that coming up, but right now it's time to talk some high school football.
It's time for the Ancova Insurance High School Player Award on Buckeye Roundtable.
One of the highlights of the Buckeye Roundtable show is the presentation of the Ancova Insurance Archie Griffin Athlete of the Week Award. During each roundtable show, Ancova Insurance and the Ohio State Sports Network honor a high school athlete for their outstanding play and team leadership. And tonight's recipient is senior defensive back Tyler Rolls from North Royalton High School up in Northeast Ohio. Friday night, Rolls had 4 tackles, an interception, forced 1 fumble, recovered another in North Royalton's 43-13 win at Worcester. The Bears are coached by Nick Cioli. They're 1-1 and will host North Ridgeville on Friday night. Again, congratulations to Tyler Rolls from North Royalton High School, the recipient of this week's Ancova Insurance Archie Griffin High School Athlete of the Week Award. Ancova Insurance, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Time now for Buckeye Roundtable's American Dairy Association Mideast top performers and our whip around the state.
And congratulations again, DB. Nice to see a defensive kid win it this week. Tyler Rolls from North Royalton, but that was not the only standout from this weekend.
No, sir. I got a quarterback here. Jack McKee from Dublin, Scioto, was 22 of 32 passing for 224 yards and 4 touchdowns, and added 110 yards on the ground in Scioto's wild 41-40 win over Lancaster.
How about running back Andre Bailey from Hamilton? 28 carries, 233 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. And Hamilton's 33-7 win over Sycamore.
I got a running back, Lorraine running back, Toriano Allen had 14 carries for 151 yards and 2 touchdowns, and added a 90-yard kickoff return for another score as Lorraine beat Elyria 41-14.
Grove City running back Blake Jackson, 37 carries, 252 yards, a pair of touchdowns, including the game winner in the final minute as Grove City beat Westland 45-41.
Defense. Defensive lineman Braylon Bryant from Middletown had 8 tackles and 2.5 sacks and contributed to a pair of turnovers as Middletown defeated Fairfield 19-2.
Yeah. Lake Catholic linebacker Marty Loncar, 3 solo tackles, 11 assists, 3 TFLs, a sack, a block punt, and a fumbled recovery. And Lake Catholic's 21-14 win over Avon Lake.
Hilliard Darby running back Cohen Cornegay had 26 carries for 136 yards, and all 3 of Darby's touchdowns as they defeated Hilliard Bradley 21-7.
Anderson quarterback Owen Scalf, 20 of 25 passing, 351 yards, 3 touchdowns, leading Anderson to a 49-7 win over West Claremont.
Strongsville running back Kendrick Bodie had 27 carries for 246 yards and a pair of touchdowns in Strongville's 28-7 win over Solon.
How about Worthington Kilbourne quarterback Jackson Sabo, 20 of 28 passing, 332 yards, 3 touchdowns, 68 yards on the ground, and another score as Kilbourne defeated Thomas Worthington 42-7.
Lakota West quarterback Jackson Smith was very efficient, 12 of 14 passing for 284 yards and 4 touchdowns as Lakota West defeated Mason 35-13.
Elder quarterback Caden Eastep, 16 of 19 passing, 219 yards and also rushed for 91 yards and a pair of touchdowns. I'll bet he was celebrating at Ron's Roost afterwards on the west side of Cincinnati as Elder beat Covington Catholic 28-20.
Time for our affiliate weekly whip around the state. We'll begin up in northeast Ohio to Tuscarawas County. Big night on both sides of the ball. Here's WJER's Bill Hammerstrom.
Newcomerstown senior Dom Singer rushed for 188 yards and scored 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground and 1 through the air, to lead the Trojans to a 28-21 win over Harrison Central. However, victory was not guaranteed until Singer stepped up on defense. He intercepted a pass in the end zone as time ran out to preserve the 7-point victory. Newcomerstown is now 1-1 and will travel to 2-0 Conotton Valley Friday. For WJER in Dover, I'm Bill Hammerstrom.
To the northwest corner of the state, big nights there as we check in with WNDH's Dave Kleck.
There were 2 big-time performances on the Gridiron Friday night in the northwest corner of the state. Liberty Center junior Garrison Cruz rushed for 246 yards, 3 touchdowns, and on defense had 13 tackles. Liberty Center rocked Eastwood 48-14 for their 37th straight regular season win. And Fairview quarterback William Zedek threw for 365 yards, 3 touchdowns. Fairview needed them all to hold off Delta 36-32 to go to 2-0. From WNDH in Napoleon, I'm Dave Kleck.
South to Mercer County, a long streak continues. Here's WCSM's Ron Brunswick.
The Marion Local Flyers traveled to Convoy with a 65-game winning streak to battle the Crestview Knights. When they traveled back to Maria Stein, they had extended that to a 66-game winning streak, knocking off the Knights 63-0 for their second straight shutout win of the Young Sioux. And junior running back Ben Meyer came up big, 3 touchdown runs, 104 yards on 7 carries. The Flyers face a familiar foe in Week 3 as they travel to Jim's old stomping grounds, the Wally Post Athletic Complex, to battle the 2-0 San Henry Redskins. I'm Ron Brunswick for WCSM Radio.
Can they make history? Talking about St. Henry? Break that streak?
Coach Tim Goodwin, a Marion local, pointed out St. Henry is one of the teams that, could give them a battle, but 66 straight.
That's unreal. To Allen County, some big quarterback play here. Here's WIMA's Todd Walker.
The Bath Wildcats hadn't beaten the St. Mary's Rough Riders since 2015, heading into Friday night's matchup in St. Mary's. That streak came to an end as the Wildcats won 56-36. Senior quarterback Zach Welsh was 21 of 29 for 307 yards and 4 touchdowns with no interceptions. He added 57 yards rushing and a touchdown as well. The 2-0 Wildcats visit Van Wert this Friday. Reporting for 1150 WIMA in Lima, this is Todd Walker.
Wild night in Champaign County. Here's WPKO's Chad Wilkinson.
It was all offense Friday night from Urbana as the Hill Climbers hosted the Mechanicsburg Indians. The 2 teams combined for 90 points and nearly 1,000 yards of total offense. Urbana's quarterback Grady Lance accounted for more than half those yards. He threw for 414 and rushed for another 100 and scored 7 touchdowns in the Hill Climbers' 47-43 win over Mechanicsburg. Receiver Colton TP chipped in with 10 catches for 165 yards and a touchdown. The 1-1 Hill Climbers will host Benjamin Logan this week. From 98.3 WPKO in Bell Fountain, I'm Chad Wilkinson.
Into Montgomery County, nice night on the ground as we hear from WING's Justin Kinner.
The Fairborn Skyhawks are 2-0 for the first time since 2020, following their 28-0 win over the Sydney Yellow Jackets this past Friday night. It was another Skyhawks win and another big night on the ground from senior running back Zaire Cavett. Cavett rushed for 156 yards and scored 4 touchdowns on the night. That gives him a total of 7 touchdowns on the season, and we are only a couple of weeks in. Zaire Cavett continues to roll. The Fairborn Skyhawks continue to roll, and they'll look to keep that momentum going as they take on Tippecanoe this Friday night. For ESPN 1410 Wing AM, I'm Justin Kinner in Dayton.
Circle around to the other end of the state to Washington County. More big numbers on the ground. Here's WMOA's Andy Rex.
Guys, Morgan High School junior running back Tanner Bankus had 21 carries for 209 yards and 3 first-half touchdowns as the Raiders topped Warren 28-13 Friday night. Bankus scored on runs of 7, 30, and 19 yards, helping Morgan overcome 5 turnovers in the victory. The Raiders are now 2-0 for only the 3rd time in the last 20 years and have an early season showdown with 2-0 New Lexington at home this Friday night. From WJAW in McConnellsville, I'm Andy Rex.
West into Muskingum County, another big night on the ground. Here's WHIZ's David Kinder.
It was a big night for New Lexington Panther running back Paul Stinson in a victory Friday over Muskingum Valley League foe Philo. Stinson carried the ball 20 times for 186 yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. His last touchdown, a 45-yarder that capped off a 37-20 victory. New Lexington is now 2-0 with the win. They'll hit the road this week to play the 2-0 Morgan Raiders. Reporting for WHIZ Radio in Zanesville, I'm David Kinder.
Final stop, Knox County. A couple of big evenings in that area as we check in with WMVO's Tyler Mathias.
Mount Vernon quarterback Mason Richards rushed 15 times for 80 yards and scored 3 times in Mount Vernon's 24-7 win at Newark on Friday night, their first victory against the Wildcats since 2021. Richards had touchdown runs of 21, 6, and 2 yards. Meanwhile, Johnstown went into Centerburg and beat the Trojans behind 280 yards rushing and 7 rushing touchdowns from Ryan Sager. Mount Vernon is at Delaware Hayes Friday. Centerburg plays at Worthington Christian. Reporting from WQIO and WMVO out of Mount Vernon, I'm Tyler Mathias.
Thanks as always to all of our fine affiliate contributions. A great whip around the state. Home teams, Grandview, St. Henry.
Grandview got the victory on Thursday night, 53-0, and the Redskins beat Archbold on Friday night.
Muller fell. They lost to Chicago Mount Carmel, so they're 1-1.
Hartley lost at Ursuline, and they will host Walnut Ridge coming up this week. Our top performers from around the state was presented by the American Dairy Association Mideast. A reminder from Ohio's dairy farmers, 8 ounces of delicious chocolate milk has 8 grams of protein with the power to fuel everyone, including Ohio State quarterback Tavian St. Clair. He's built like a Buckeye, and you can be too. Learn more at ohiostatebuckeyes.com/built like a Buckeye. A wild weekend across the top 25 we'll discuss after further review as tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
As the official hot dog of Ohio State athletics, Sugardale is dedicated to delicious. Whether you're cheering on the Buckeyes at the game or grilling at your home tailgate, you can count on Sugardale to score a touchdown. Made right here in Ohio for more than 100 years, Sugardale has always taken a personal approach to making great-tasting, high-quality meats. Look for Sugardale hot dogs, bacon, ham, and more at your local grocery store.
It doesn't matter if you're playing hard or working hard. Your workout only works out if you recover right. Chocolate milk helps you recover for what comes next. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. From biking to bench presses, Milk's protein helps you build lean muscle and gain more from your workouts.
Ready? Recover. Repeat. Brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb. Coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The great thing about Atlas Butler is they do it all. Heating, cooling, plumbing. Look, I'm busy with work. I don't have time to wait around or deal with lots of people. One company, one call, and they do it all. Wonder if they'll clean out my inbox. Seriously, offer that service. Please.
Atlas Butler is at your service. Call 1-800-FURNACE.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com.
From the first one born in the USA to the tens of millions that followed, from the American highways to the NASCAR race days, more people have counted on their Camrys than any other car for over 23 years. And now, Camry is even better. It's all hybrid all the time to be more efficient yet powerful. With available all-wheel drive for the capability to go wherever you want to go in style and comfort. For the latest offers, go to Toyota.com and make your own history. Toyota, let's go places.
Buckeye football lives here. The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey, Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mossick, join Coach Ryan Day, and experts from across Buckeye Nation to preview every matchup and break down each week's game. Game Time with Ryan Day, presented by Huntington Bank, airs Saturday mornings at 9 on 10 TV in Columbus and statewide on OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Buckeye Roundtable.
Greatest play is under further review.
After further review.
And they make the handoff, end around, right to left, this way. Running, 30, 25, 20. Buckeye Dancy breaks a tackle. 5, he's in. Shot, in there, baby. Buckeye Dancy on his first touch of the afternoon. Speed kills. Touchdown, Florida State. Touchdown, FSU.
Jeff Colhane, Florida State Network, may be the surprise of the weekend, the way FSU defeats Alabama 31-17.
Thomas Castellanos backed up all of his woofing that he did during the summer. And, remember, Florida State only won 2 games last year. So big statement win, regardless of how much you want to criticize Alabama. And apparently there's a lot of room to do that. But what a big win for Mike Norvell's team.
Gus Malzahn's a new offensive coordinator, former Auburn head coach for Mike Norvell and Florida State, and that decision's paid off. DeBoer is 6-4 against unranked opponents. Nick Saban was 124-4 against unranked opponents. So got some work to do.
Staying in the state of Florida, Sunday night, Miami hosted Notre Dame. It came down to the end.
Clock's ticking. Carr back to throw. Steps up. Got a lot of pressure. C.J. Carr is sacked. Miami got him. Mesidor's there. Bain is there. Lunt is there. Clock is running. 10 seconds. 9 seconds. 8 seconds. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. 5 seconds. Notre Dame trying to get off a play. 2 seconds to go. Can they get off a play? It's all over. Miami wins. A magnificent finish. Carter Davis is the hero for Miami. 27-24.
Joe Zagacki, Hurricane Network, kind of questionable clock management there at the end. Miami holds off Notre Dame 27-24.
And Carson Beck playing like he did in his best days when he was a Georgia quarterback. The question, Skip, out of this, and, you have people in your house that follow Notre Dame and pay attention. Yeah.
One people.
It certainly seemed that Jeremiah Love was maybe not as used or not as efficient as what
that got brought to my attention. Yes, right?
Yeah, a lot of people thought he would.
Well, C.J. Carr, the grandson of Lloyd Carr, the former Michigan coach, I thought he
had some moments.
He had some moments. Did all he could. He played hard, and I thought the whole Notre Dame team played awful hard. Miami just had a little bit more.
Another game that came down to the end had LSU playing at Clemson.
Klubnik takes the snap, drops back, now sprints to his right. Pressure comes, hit as he throws. Incomplete down at the 5-yard line. Turnover on downs. LSU football. Harold Perkins on a beeline to Cade Klubnik. Forced the throw on the run, and the Tigers of LSU have the football with 59 seconds remaining, leading 17-10 over Clemson.
Chris Blair, LSU Network, that was your final. LSU gets the win at Clemson, 17-10.
A little bit of a monkey off the back of Chip Kelly, the Brian Kelly, excuse me. Jeez. Jim Kelly,
my 3
Rob
sons.
Kelly,
Chip Stevens.
Get the monkey off the back with a season opening win. But, again, here's another example. Even though Clemson had it on their side, a returning veteran quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier.
Yeah, and, Clemson couldn't run the ball. I think they had, 31 carries for 20 yards? 31 yards on 20 carries. That ain't going to get it done. They got to, mix things up a little bit and have the ability to be a little bit more balanced offensive attack.
Not everybody had a tight opener. We head to Athens, where Georgia hosted Marshall.
4th and goal from the Marshall 2. Cortez Smith, the center, freshman, snaps it back. Gunner to throw it into the end zone. Back line caught. Humphreys touchdown.
Scott Howard on Learfield. Georgia rolls Marshall 45-7.
You know, there's a lot of talk about SEC teams. Does it seem like we're not hearing a lot about Georgia this year?
Not at all. I agree.
Not much,
totally.
which is probably where they'd like it.
Yeah, Gunnar Stockton, the quarterback of Georgia, doing some nice things out there. Ran for a couple touchdowns, showing his versatility. Was able to throw the ball for 190 yards, rush for 73. That's a pretty balanced attack and a good effort there by the quarterback.
Always curious about how the participants from the Ireland game would fare playing 7 days later. Let's begin with Kansas State. Would they have trouble readjusting as they hosted North Dakota?
47 seconds to go and a timeout. Avery with the football here. Two-step drop. Looking, throwing, has his man. Touchdown! Joe Jackson, left corner. The Wildcats score with 42 seconds to go and lead 37-35 on the third touchdown pass of the night for Avery Johnson.
Wyatt Thompson on Learfield. Much closer game here, but K-State gets the victory over North Dakota 38-35.
You know, and we've seen Avery Johnson both last year and this year start to come into his own a little bit as a quarterback. But Skip, couldn't agree with you more. Why in the world, if you're going to go play that game in Ireland on week 0, why would you not have a bye?
Yeah, you got to schedule it a little bit better, but you're right. Avery Johnson threw for 318, 3 touchdowns in that game, starting to come along, and, good bounce-back game for him.
The other Ireland participant was Iowa State as they hosted South Dakota.
Out of the shotgun, Rocco Bex. It's officially from the 17. Rocco looks, throws, caught by Burkle, breaks the tackle, 5, and toward the pylon. Did he get in or not?
Yes.
He did. Touchdown, Gabe Burkle. Wow. The third touchdown by a tight end today.
John Walters on Learfield. No hangover for the Cyclones. They roll South Dakota 55-7.
I think they got the right Dakota. They got the Coyotes rather than North Dakota. But, Rocco Beck certainly has shown in 2 games. Now, he had some clunky moments in Ireland, but certainly he has shown that he's becoming a very quality quarterback.
Quality, 19-20 throwing the football. How about that?
That's quality, isn't it?
Yeah,
quality,
wow.
Nice.
95%, that's a school record for the Cyclones.
One other game I wanted to get your thoughts about was Colorado as they opened at home with Georgia Tech.
2nd down and 5. King claps, snaps, fakes the toss, runs right, puts a hand in the back of his line, breakthrough. He's at the 35-30. He's gone. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Haynes King. 1:07 to go. Oh, hail the King. Long may he reign. And the Jackets lead 26-20.
Andy Demetra, Georgia Tech Network, they get that late score. They beat Colorado 27-20.
So they decide the long-awaited 1990 split national championship because both those schools won the championships. Haynes King, another returning experienced quarterback, but the Yellow Jackets come back after, I think it was 3 turnovers in their first 3 possessions.
You're right, Paul. It was
the
tough.
rambling wreck, almost wrecked themselves from Georgia Tech. But, yeah, they came back to get it. And, Colorado going through with the new quarterback there, they'll be better as the year goes.
Coach Prime kind of battling with the reporters again afterwards.
Questions about timeout philosophy late in the game. And one of the things Deion said, if they made some of the plays they didn't, then maybe the timeout questions wouldn't have occurred.
We mentioned nationally that the 2 national games of note this week as far as top 25 both involve Big Ten teams. Iowa State hosts Iowa. Michigan travels to Oklahoma.
And again, Michigan, because of all of the things that have happened, because of all of the people they've lost, they maybe have not been on everybody's radar, but Bryce Underwood seemingly is going to put them there.
And Barnum's going to miss the first half of that game. Yeah, and he's a quality football player. They got a lot of quality guys on that team, so those guys are going to have to rally around, play hard for 2 quarters before Barnum gets back in the second half.
Joshua Perry will join us coming up in just a little bit, but up next we will hit the sidelines with our Tyler Dan Burgess. Tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
This is Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, this is Paul Keels. This Buckeye season, don't let a broken windshield ruin your game plan. Safelite Auto Glass makes it easy to get your windshield fixed with their mobile glass shops all over Central Ohio. They can come to you anywhere, giving Buckeye fans more time for game time. OH? Man, I love that. Schedule at Safelite.com. Safelite Auto Glass is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Safelite repair, Safelite replace.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule! Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
The Donato's Pep Duo Pizza is back, and it brought a pal. The Donato's Pep Duo, loaded with crispy pepperoni and 3 kinds of cheese. Now get a large Pep Duo pizza for just $14.99. Also back, Donato's deliciously dippable pepperoni cheese bread. Now on the $5 Pizza Pals menu for a limited time. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's, gotta love more.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
The Fan. Ohio sports destination. You're listening to the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show, presented by Burger King, where you rule. With Jim Lachey and Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mossick. Be sure to check out the Buckeye Game Day Concert Series, presented by the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer, before every home game this season outside of St. John Arena in Buckeye Fan Fest. Each week features a different artist on stage 2 hours before kickoff. Get on board. Book your cruise today. Visit BuckeyeCruise.com. Go Buckeyes and beat cancer.
This is the Elk and Elk Report on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Jim, a lot of guys for Ohio State saw the field Saturday. Who were you impressed with as far as the players coming in and out of that game on that 2 deep and making contributions?
Well, you saw Will Smith down at the goal line step up and make a contribution at defensive tackle. Bo Atkinson, C.J. Hicks on the final play of the game. When Sonny was kind of in and out a little bit, you saw Peyton Pierce step up. Devin Sanchez got some ability to go in there and play. And then, we already talked about this first segment, but 5 tight ends played in that game. You saw a lot of Bennett Christensen and, Will Kazmarek got to start. Max Clare, I think, was in maybe 25, 30 plays in the ball game. So, the workload was a little bit lighter for him than maybe I would have thought. Jelani Thurman, Nate Roberts near at the goal line. And I guess – when you look at the running back position, C.J. Donaldson got the majority of the carries, which I didn't know if was going to happen or not. But a big game-type atmosphere, I can see that. James Peoples probably get a lot of carries this week.
Our 2 Deep report was presented by Elk and Elk, injury lawyers dedicated to every client every day. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO.
For Buckeye Roundtables from the Sidelines Report on the Ohio State Sports Network.
We talked about Buckeye quarterback Julian Sayin earlier in the show. 13 of 20, 126, and a touchdown in his Buckeye debut as a starter. After the game, he spoke with our Tyler Danberg.
How important was winning this game for you guys moving forward?
Yeah, we were just focusing on taking it when we get a time, and we're going to come out here and, we're going to hold anything back. We're going to go out there and what's been what Coach Day has been preaching all week is, we're going to here swing and get everything we got, and then, see where we are and move on next week.
The Carnell Tate 40-yard touchdown. What did you see before releasing the football, and what was your reaction to the catch after?
Yeah, great route by him, and he beat him. I think I left it a little bit short. He kind of made me right with the catch, and a great catch by him, and overall great effort up front, giving me time to reset.
Julian, when you think about your first college start, what do you think you're going to remember most?
I think just the atmosphere and the energy. It was awesome to be in the shoe today. So much energy. The defense played really well. Offensive line played well. Running backs ran hard. Receivers caught the ball well. So I think it was just an overall good team effort, and it was so much fun just being in the shoe.
What was it like seeing Will Howard on the sidelines and then after the game?
Yeah, it was awesome seeing Will. We had so many great memories from last year. So seeing him on the sideline, it was awesome.
He said earlier this week and talked about your California cool demeanor, hailing from Calabasas, California. How do you think your demeanor helps you manage situations like this?
Yeah, I think, the quarterback, you kind of got to be the calm in the storm is what Coach Fessler always says to us. You got to be even-keeled and, be someone that the offense looks to and have a calm presence.
Julian, for someone that might not necessarily know, how much of an impact does Billy Fessler make?
Oh, he's everything. Coach Day and Coach Fessler, just coaching the quarterbacks up. In the quarterback room, they have so much impact on us. Being with us every day, day in and day out. Coach Fessler's done a great job.
I know it's early, but what's the big you're going to work on heading into next week against Grambling State?
Yeah, we got to clean up, all three phases. We got to clean up our passing game, our run game, everything. So we're just going to focus on next week and clean up stuff that we made mistakes on today.
Julian, congrats on the win. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Jim Lachey, you've been to practice a bunch. What have you seen maybe that Julian Sayin can bring that he didn't show us on Saturday?
I thought the things that I saw in practice, he went out there and did, poise in the pocket, the ability to move around, buy a little extra time with his feet, throwing the ball on the run. Again, he goes against a really good defense every day in practice. Ask Arch Manning if you don't believe that. So I think that was, got him tested, for this outing going against the Texas Longhorn defense. But again, it takes, he's a guy that's got to, get all the communication in, get everybody in the right position, and then go deliver. But it takes 10 other guys to do their jobs. The offensive line's got to prepare or got to protect. The receivers got to run the right routes. The backs got to run hard. So it's a total team effort. But no, I think he's, got this win under his belt, beating a number one team, as we saw the stat last week, 0-18 first-year starters going against the number one team, first-time starters, and he certainly did a good job to put that one to rest.
And we mentioned it earlier, Paul. I mean, the biggest takeaway you took from Julian Sayin's debut was what?
The fact that he put the ball in the hands of the playmakers. Yeah, now everybody would like to see Jeremiah Smith make more of the crazy plays we saw him make last year, but, he got the ball out and didn't force things.
Coming up next, we'll be joined by former Ohio State linebacker, national champion, now with NBC Sports, Joshua Perry. Joshua joins us next as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
More of Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King coming up on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance and their local independent agents are prepared for what's next and protect what matters most to you. Whether that's your home, car, business, or family, Encova's got your back with a policy that fits you perfectly. With local independent agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova's playbook is an easy win for your peace of mind. You can trust their team of agents to develop a strategy that's just right for you. And it's not just X's and O's. Your expert agent will guide you and provide insurance solutions so you can confidently manage your risk and count on a financially secure future. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you. Encova is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Go Bucks!
True North convenience stores are your coffee and fountain champions. Fuel up your game day with True Rewards. Buy 6 True Brew coffees or True Oasis fountain drinks and get your 7th free. Whether you're heading to a game or watching from home, grab a True Brew coffee or an ice-cold True Oasis fountain drink to keep you going all 4 quarters. Find True Rewards in your app store or visit TrueNorthStores.com to get started. True North convenience stores. Fast, friendly, clean. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
AEP Energy wants to know if you're ready to say goodbye to higher rates and hello to savings. Get your energy costs under control by locking in a fixed rate for your electricity supply. You'll lower your bills and get price protection from rising rates. Take control and lock in a low fixed rate. Visit aepenergy.com/OSU to get started. AEP Energy, the official electricity and natural gas sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. AEP Energy is a competitive retail electrical and natural gas service provider and affiliate of Ohio Power Company, AEP Ohio. AEP Energy is not soliciting on behalf of and is not an agent of AEP Ohio.
Hey, Buckeye fans! As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Toyota gives you more electrified hybrid choices than anyone else, including the stylish new Corolla, a name synonymous with Toyota quality and dependability, the elegant new Toyota Crown Signia, and the latest edition of the legendary 4Runner. Toyota's extensive lineup also includes battery EVs like the tech-savvy all-electric BZ4X, and of course, the iconic Prius, the hybrid that started it all. That's the power of choice. From Toyota, let's go places.
Your home for Ohio State Athletics, The Fan. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show presented by Burger King, where you rule, with Jim Lachey, Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. Saturday, Ohio State held Texas to 0 for 2 on trips inside the 20. This defensive summary brought to you by Anduril, whose mission is to transform U.S. military capabilities through advanced technology. Anduril, an official sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye Roundtable Insiders.
Joined for a few minutes now by former Buckeye national champion Joshua Perry, doing great things at NBC Sports. And Joshua, you're an old linebacker. The most impressive thing you saw from that Ohio State's defense Saturday was what?
Well, I mean, everybody's been talking about it, but the scheme was on point. Saw so many looks to confuse a quarterback who hadn't played a ton. I think the fronts were phenomenal in terms of Texas not being able to determine where the extra rusher might be coming from, if there's an extra rusher coming. So that was really good. But to shout out one guy, Arvell Reese, my goodness. I mean, and expectations were high. People started to notice that he was coming around, but talk about one of the next great ones. I think he has all the makings of one of the next great linebackers.
How could you not notice him coming around the corner? Joshua, you've been through this before. What do you remember, and what are the things that are kind of the quirks that come with playing a first game of the season, regardless of who the opponent is?
Yeah, I mean, the first game of the season is always tough just from that, expectation standpoint, the emotions of it too. And I thought Ohio State handled it really well, especially Julian Sand. He looked like he was very comfortable, but going out in that stadium for the first time, whether it's on the road or at home, there's a lot going through your body. And then this idea of you know who you want to be and you know what work you put in during training camp, but you don't quite know yet how you measure up against the other teams. And so there's that process of feeling out and going through it and making the adjustments and getting that comfort in the game. I thought they handled it from a very mature standpoint, especially with new play callers on either side of the ball and a bunch of new faces. So you can tell this is a team that put in a lot of the proper preparation early on. And they went out there in the most anticipated week 1 matchup that I've probably seen in my lifetime and didn't look like there was any question about who they were going to be that day.
Joshua, your thoughts on Texas offense? Little to no motion, a lot of trips, a lot of double. What do you think of their game plan coming against Ohio State?
Well, I think they were trying to keep it simple, right? Like go on the road, You don't know how loud the environment's going to be, and Sark talked about that after the game. But, it was loud, so you might want to minimize communication in a lot of ways. And then for all the hype around Arch Manning, it was still the reality that he was a younger guy who hadn't taken a ton of reps in college. And so you have to have a game plan that's manageable for him. I thought that it was certainly not the most inventive day that we ever saw out of Sark, but there's, again, all the reasons for the limitations. I will say about the Texas offense is the run game looked like it was pretty good, and I expected them to be able to run just a little bit. Even with the offensive line questions they might have had, their running back room is very, very talented. So I think as they probably go back to the drawing board and see where they can adjust, might be a little bit more quarterback run out of Arch, but they're going to have to lean on that running back room to get the offense jump-started.
We become romanced by stats, and just because of what you were saying, Joshua, about Arch Manning and the threat to run, is that where, as a defender, as much as you want to just bulldog the quarterback, you got to be responsible?
You have to. It's one of those where, and I remember when we game planned for a guy who was a really good athlete, our coaches would tell us, hey, man, you don't get to throw your best pass rush move on Saturday. That's just the reality of the situation. You have to have a controlled rush. When you get your hands on them, you got to make sure that you tackle the arm, because a lot of these guys are so strong in their lower body, they could rip out. So you're trying to get to the ball as much as you are get to the quarterback in a lot of ways. So it takes the edge off of the defense from that regard. You have to be very sound when you make contact with the quarterback. But once again, the way you slow one of those guys down is you make them think. You've got to pat the ball. You've got to chop down his feet. And now all of a sudden he's not as good of an athlete.
You look at Jeremiah Smith. I believe he was targeted 10 times, came up with 6 catches. There's a couple of them there that were probably drops for Jeremiah. We saw that early a little bit last year. But, what he brings to this offense and how Texas defended him last year compared to this year.
Yeah, I think Ohio State did a good job of putting Jeremiah on the move and changing up his alignment so they could find ways to get him the football, probably a little bit better than they did in the semifinal. Listen, Jeremiah is a competitor. He knows what his expectations are. Sometimes you go out there and maybe you're a little bit too juiced up, and I think that might explain why he had a couple of drops there. But the attention that Texas was giving to Jeremiah ultimately gave opportunities to other guys down the field. And there were plays for Ohio State's offense that were left out there, which is the scary thing. It wasn't the most explosive day that they had, but you think if Max Clare gets that conversion, Brandon Ennis is running a slot fade, and if he makes that catch, all of a sudden we're looking at a very different scoreboard at the end of the day. So that's the one thing I take away is Jeremiah, you want the best player in America to have a great game every week, but there are opportunities for everybody else because of how much attention he's seeing, and you can tell that the offense is looking for those opportunities.
Okay, now you're not too far removed from this, but put yourself in a position of one of the players this week, and no disrespect meant, you're getting ready to play the Grambling State Tigers. We know the coaches say it's about you. It's about what you have to do. What goes into your mind going into a game like this?
So there's 2 parts of this where it is about our team and what we're trying to do in our preparation. And great teams have standards, right? In 2014, when we won it, we had to learn what our standards were going to be after we lost to Virginia Tech. But once we found that out, we committed to it. I think in 2015, we were a little bit too flexible on the standards, and that's how you drop a game toward the end of the year. But these guys have to figure out where their standards are and what they are, hold themselves accountable to it. And then number 2, you want to get out that damn game as early as possible. Run it up early.
You got plans, right?
Let the young guys go out there and make a few tackles too. So that was kind of the mentality for me was, we have to handle our business, but let's not be out there on the field too long.
Joshua, a number of good games nationally in week 1. Any that either stood out or surprised you?
I'll say this. LSU was the one I was looking at, and a lot of it was because of their defense. Blake Baker coming in last year, they really didn't take a step forward. I thought their defense looked like it was much better, and so I'm very curious if that trend holds. The one that's the big surprise, I think, for everybody was how Alabama looked against Florida State. And the biggest thing is the effort and the attention to detail and the fundamentals. I remember when Urban went down to the national championship in 2012, after coaching us that first year. He's watching the Alabama guys warm up. He's told this story before, but he sees how the defensive line is shooting their hands and they're running their feet in warm-ups in the detail. And he said that's the difference. That's the difference between a program like Alabama and the difference between a program like us. And we were trying to work up to that standard. Then we eventually play Alabama, and they've got, A'Shawn Robinson on the inside. They've got Derrick Henry. It's big, it's physical, it's fast. Everybody runs, everybody tackles well, everybody blocks. And they don't look like that right now. And I think that's why people are alarmed. I'm sure people down in Alabama are going crazy right now. But I'm very curious because Kalen DeBoer is a good coach, and he's coached at a national title game. Can he bring those standards back to that program?
Former Buckeye national champion Joshua Perry, NBC Sports. Joshua, we always appreciate you hopping on. Thanks for your time, okay?
I appreciate you guys. Take care.
Hopefully we'll see him coming up next week. I know that the Peacock has Ohio next week. So
is that where that is?
So it is.
Will people be able to see that?
It'll be right here on your radio. So you paint the picture. Nobody else needs to see anything. Up next, we will wrap things up this evening with some chalk talk. Again, Ohio State and Grambling on Saturday. That is next as the Buckeye Roundtable show continues.
You're listening to Buckeye Roundtable, presented by Burger King on the Ohio State Sports Network from Learfield.
Now, the officials have been talking for quite some time.
All righty, let's see what they have to say.
Upon further review, there is no penalty on the play. However, we have conferred and discovered that Bob, the line judge, has saved a boatload for his kids' college using Ohio's 529 plan. It is tax-free, accepted nationwide. Bob recommends we all go to collegeadvantage.com. First down.
Well, that's not entirely unexpected.
Classic Bob.
Hey, Buckeye fans. Are you thinking of consolidating your debt with a home equity loan? Union Home Mortgage wants you to know the average homeowner has over $200,000 of home equity available, and they can help you get access to your money quickly and easily. Go to UHM.com to get your cash estimate today. You'll score financial freedom with Union Home Mortgage, the official home lending sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Union Home Mortgage Corp. is an equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 2229.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Hey, Ohio State fans! Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry-O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State Team Shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
American Electric Power is a proud sponsor of Buckeyes Care.
Hi, I'm Janelle Coleman with American Electric Power. AEP comes together with our communities to create a better future every day. Whether we serve, build, or simply share with others, we make Central Ohio brighter for our neighbors. Our collaboration with Buckeyes Care is another way we work to make the future boundless for all.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. This is the Ohio State Sports Network, presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State athletics.
Welcome back, everybody, into tonight's Buckeye Roundtable show with Jim Lachey and Paul Keels. I'm Skip Mossick. We're proudly presented by Burger King. Visit your local BK restaurant to grab your $10 O-Fry O bundle. That includes a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, 8-piece chicken nuggets, and a custom OSU crown. All for just $10 at your local Burger King.
Buckeye Roundtable, Chalk Talk.
Ohio State and Grambling Saturday, 3:30 kickoff at Ohio Stadium. Paul, I think you asked, and Joshua Perry just a couple of minutes ago answered exactly what you hope to accomplish and what the player mindset is coming into games like this. But, Jim, as a former player, the biggest thing you hope to accomplish in games like this, that Ohio State is clearly favored by a large margin.
Take care of every possession, you know what I mean? I mean, the opening possession of the game, take it down, score, put points on the board. Defense, get stops. Take the next possession, go put points on the board. Kind of use this as something where you can go out there and get better each and every time. And like I said, you're going to get graded, so you want to go out and have great technique. You want to go out there and finish your job and go out and, play with the attitude that, if we take care of business early in this game, maybe we can get some of our backups in that. That's kind of be in the back of your thought. You don't want to be out there in a 4-quarter struggle with Grambling. You want to go out there and take care of business. And, we're going to have a big advantage as far as numbers-wise, scholarships, weight on the offensive line, weight on the defensive line. Although, when I looked at their offensive line, I added it up, it was 6'4", 315. So they got some big guys, but still not the type of guys that we're used to seeing maybe like a Texas would have. So, you got to go out there and just take care of your business. You can't worry about the opponent. You got to worry about your performance and what you do. And, I'm sure Julian Sayin wants to go out there and have a great game. C.J. Donaldson wants to rush for 100 yards. They all do. Jeremiah wants to have a couple touchdowns in this game. So they all got those type of goals. Defense, hey, if we're great on third down, great on fourth down like we were against Texas, that's going to take us a long way.
Yeah, Paul, I was going to ask about the running backs. I mean, obviously it's predicated on who they were playing Saturday in Texas, but limited to 87 yards. Let's face it, we know what kind of defense they were up against, but what did you like about Donaldson and Peoples from Saturday? And I guess anything you'd like to see more from them moving forward, especially in a game like this?
Donaldson straightforward, running between the tackles, and this is a guy that dropped about 20 pounds, but he brings a physical presence. And Skip, honestly, this is one where you'd like to see more of James Peoples, to see what we saw in the first 2 games last year. Hopefully see some of Sam Dixon and maybe some of the freshman running backs.
5-7 a year ago was Grambling. They rolled in their opener over Langston, 55-7. The largest threat that Grambling presents would be what?
The band might outperform Ohio State's band. No. And there are so many questions. Grambling's band, world-renowned. They are fantastic, and they are coming to perform. At least they better, since we already interviewed the band director. But hard to say, because they've got a lot of new pieces, too.
Sure. Did you notice where their kickoff guy also plays linebacker?
I did not.
Josh Darling, number 42. And, I was doing my charts, and I go, wow, there's a Josh Darling, number 42, who's a backup linebacker. Now, maybe they got it mixed up on their 2D. I did not notice that, but yeah, so that's kind of interesting, right? To have a linebacker, a weak side linebacker, also do your kickoffs. So that's the case. It looked like he was going to be their starting kicker.
Was it George Kuntz used to do that too, I think?
It's been a while. I mean, Lou Groza, right?
Yeah.
Kicking and playing offensive tackle.
Mickey Joseph knows that they're huge underdogs. Grambling coach Mickey Joseph was listening to a bit of his press conference talking about the matchup, wanting his team to play clean and knowing the ultimate goal is for them to gear up for the SWAC.
Absolutely. And they've got things they have to look at, especially their 2 big rivalry games with Southern and with Jackson. So, it's a moneymaker for them. So, and I'm certain, like everybody, but they're looking to get out healthy.
Now's the time. The reason that this game is being played.
This game is here because UConn backed out of playing on September 20th. For whatever reason, the Huskies didn't want to play. When that happened, Ohio State, because this was going to be the first bye weekend, Ohio State did not want to have an early bye like they did last year when it was week 3. The only school, FBS, FCS, that was available to play was Grambling State.
Hey, we got them.
Got them. And the band.
And probably came with a little extra dollars their way.
It's neat, though. It's neat. I mean, let's say what you will, SWAC, 1AA. but still, it's a tradition-rich program.
No question. I mean, Jim played with Doug Williams and Charlie Joyner. You think of Buck Buchanan, some of the others. Willis Reed, who came from there. But, you're not – remember years ago, and it was Kansas, I believe, lost a bowl bid because they played an FCS school and they didn't get enough FBS wins.
Eddie Robinson.
Yeah. Starting next week, we'll close with Buckeyes in the NFL. And I guess, Jim Lachey, any that you're looking forward to seeing beginning later this week?
Oh, yeah. I want to see Cam Hayward. Is he going to play or not? You remember he kind of went through a hold in, hold out, back in. Coach Tomlin asked him, they asked him if Cam Hayward's going to play. Well, he better play. And Cam was like, well, I don't know yet. So there's still that back and forth with Cam Hayward. Justin Fields getting another opportunity with the New York Jets. Remember, he started with the Chicago Bears, was with the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. Now he's got a nice deal with the Jets. I hope it works out for him because look at Baker Mayfield. I mean, he went to a couple different places and now
quarterbacks, man. It's all about situations.
And I hope he does it. Marvin Harrison in his second year with the Cardinals. I hope that he takes it to a higher level. How about C.J. Stroud? Last year got sacked 50-some times with the Houston Texans. Now he's coming back. Hopefully that offensive line will be better. Got a chance to watch a couple of those preseason games with my son being on the team. So that was fun to see CJ and Cade Stover and Tommy Togiai really had a good preseason, made the club. Damon Arnett on that team.
Great job tonight, fellas. Thanks for coming down, okay?
Likewise. All right.
Buckeye Roundtable presented by Burger King has been brought to you statewide by Encova Insurance, the American Dairy Association Mideast, Window Nation, and by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers. We sounded so good tonight because tonight's program was produced by Colin Behringer. For Jim Lachey and Paul Keels, I'm Skip Mossick. As always, thanks for listening from Learfield. This is the Ohio State Sports Network presented by the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, the team physicians for Ohio State Athletics.
At Kroger Pharmacy, we make it easy to get flu, COVID, and RSV vaccines. They're available at no cost to you with most insurance plans, no appointment needed. And we're open weekdays, weeknights, and weekends. So come and visit us when it's most convenient for you. Kroger Health, a world of care is in store. Vaccines subject to availability. No cost to you with most insurance plans. Check with your plan for eligibility. Restrictions and exclusions may apply. See site for details.
Coffee, iced cap, refreshers. Tim Hortons has all your favorite beverages. And now you can get your favorite bite for less. When you buy any size beverage, add a baked daily donut for $1, a tasty bagel for $2, or a freshly cracked hot breakfast sandwich for just $3. So next time you order your favorite Tim's beverage, add something that satisfies your cravings and your wallet. The $1, $2, $3 menu. Only at your neighborhood Tim Hortons. At participating U.S. restaurants, must ask for offer in restaurant. Tax extra exclusions and terms apply.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Hey there, you've got a ton of equity in your home. You're sitting on a gold mine. You could do so much with all that cash, like travel, invest it, or pay off debt. But you can't touch it unless you sell your home. But you really don't want to move. And besides, homes are sitting on the market a long time these days. You're trapped, right? Not with TrueHold. With TrueHold, you can cash out your equity in as little as 30 days. But listen, you don't have to move. You can stay in the home you love as a renter. That's TrueHold's Sell and Stay program. Cash out your entire home's value and stay put. TrueHold even covers property taxes, property insurance, and essential repairs. Imagine using that equity to travel, invest, or pay off debt. And you can stay in your home. It's brilliant, especially in this slow market. Get your all-cash offer now. Call 1-855-300-9993. Again, that's 1-855-300-9993, or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.